Sup my dudes, Valkyrja, and you guys have probably been wondering what determines turn order, what is speed, what is all this good stuff that all these YouTubers keep telling me speed is so important by, why is speed so important, what's it do? So today I'm going to explain speed to you, hopefully in a way that I don't confuse myself and we can all understand together, because I get how this works but I'm not always the best at describing it, but we're going to give it a shot today. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. So what exactly is speed? Speed is the stat that determines your base action value and determines your spot in the turn order. If your base action value is high enough, you can actually get a second turn before an enemy can have their first. The turn is dictated, the turn ends when every single enemy or every single person on the field has had at least one action. This is why Claire is really good with low speed. You want a character on your team with really low speed so you can delay the turn, the swap of turn, so buffs get more value. But the thing is with speed is it's really good on specific characters, and you really don't want to be outspeeded by the enemies. You don't want them to have more speed than you because they'll have a higher base of action value unless you're a character like Clara, but if you don't want them to have higher speed than your damage. So exactly what is the turn order? So speed determines your base action value, and that in turn determines your turn order. The way you can actually see turn order while you're live in the middle of a fight is you can just click over here and it will tell you the base action value of every character within the turn order. So you can see here the enemy, the big guy, has a 16 base action value in the current turn order, and then 32, 38, 53, 53, with Sela potentially going all the way down here if we go ahead and attack. So now if we attack with Sela, she's going to go ahead and reappear because she gets a reset. But after the reset, we'll get her actual base turn order. So now we can see Sela is actually still within the same turn right here because not every enemy has had an action yet. Because here the enemy has had its action delayed. So you can see it's down to 66 now. And because the enemy has not had a turn yet, Sela is at the end of the current turn order. So if we go ahead, we go here. You can see they moved back up. Sela is still here. And now we're going to go ahead here with Clara. Because Clara has very low speed, she's at the very end of the turn order. Now if we were to pop you, this goes ahead and puts this, and this will mark the end of the current turn. Now at the start of the next turn, because Sela was the very last thing to move at the last turn, now her turn order and base action value is moved accordingly. You'll see these faces constantly shift around as the speed changes, as their speed changes, and basically as stuff constantly moves. But speed is what determines the actual base action value and the order of the turn. You can see here the turn is right now set to end whenever he finishes his turn. Because whenever he finishes his turn, that's going to be everybody taking an action once. So next up, you're wondering, how can I build speed? What can I do to improve my speed? That way I can have a higher base action value and get more turns within a turn. So that way I can clear stuff in Hall of Memories better without taking so many turns. Well, the only real way to build speed on a character as far as the stat goes is through relics. And you can either get it as a substat, or you can opt into speed boots. And speed boots, I believe they cap out at 24 speed. Speed's a very hard stat to build simply because it is genuinely that good. Speed's a very hard stat to build, but the fact that it affects your place in turn order is exactly why you want to build it. You really do want to build a lot of speed because it's going to help you get more actions in, more actions on your main damage, especially your single target, and you have more opportunities to deal damage. Now, the other way to actually be able to buff up speed is characters with specific speed buffs, like Asta's ult. For example, Asta increases the speed of all allies by 36 for 2 turns. 36 is a pretty good amount, and this I believe I only have it at level 1. I don't think I've upgraded it at all. So if you upgrade this, you'll get more and more speed from it, and the more speed you have, the more actions you can take per turn, effectively speaking, but the more actions you have per turn, and those are really good. So this is what's called a base speed buff. Now if we go ahead and we go to Sela, she has a percentage speed increase, which is incredibly valuable as well. Because if we, for example, are able to get Sela with Asta's buff, which is Asta's buff right now is 36. So we're just going to round everything up. We're going to make this a cool 150. We're going to do 25% of 150, which is 37.5. So then that means if you have 150 speed, we're going to end on 187.5 speed, allowing us to take tons of actions within a single turn. Realistically, you'll probably get like one more action within a single turn. But the reason it's also very, very important to have high speed coming into endgame is due to the enemy speed scaling. Now here you can see from level 65 to 77 enemies, they have a 1.1 base speed multiplier, 78 to 85, 1.2, and 86 plus enemies, 1.32. Now you're only going to see 86 plus enemies in giga bosses like Valkyrja inside Simulated Universe at the highest difficulties, or the highest difficulties of Hall of Memories, but it's very important because here you can see Valkyrja has 120 base speed. 1.3 times base speed multiplier is going to put her at 160 base speed, meaning if you want to compete, you want to not get absolutely rolled, you're going to have high speed. And then you have enemies here like the Decaying Shadow that has 172 speed. So you're not going to outspeed an enemy like this at higher difficulties, assuming they can go above level 86. But you're going to want speed so you can actually just not let them have 2 to potentially 3 actions per turn. Well, it's good in Clara's sense, but for most enemies or most characters, you don't want them to have that much speed advantage over you. So hopefully this video explained to you why speed is so important as a stat, what it affects, and what it does. Any other questions entailing speed, let me know. Hopefully I clarify it for you, and you guys can see exactly why all the content creators are valuing speed so highly as we get further and further into the end game. Other than that, thank you guys for watching as always. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.